Secrets that trading gurus don't want you to know, part 2. Today we're gonna cover when to stay out of the market. I know all the trading gurus, they tell you when to enter, how to enter, but they never tell you what days to avoid to preserve your capital and so you don't blow up. Because I guarantee like each one of you blowed up their account on one of those days. Alright, so the first and most important 2 days to avoid is OPEX and quad witching. Why, you might ask? Because that's when futures and option contracts expire, and when they do expire, institutions don't really like move the market. All fundamentals are out of the window. All that matters to them is rolling over their contracts because they're not in the business to lose money. All right, number 2 is FOMC. Alright, I personally like to avoid 2 days before FOMC and the day of FOMC because all investors are sitting sidelines because they want to wait for what Jerome Powell has to say and announce about the interest rates. Alright, so the third day you should skip any day before any major holiday. So you want to skip the day before Christmas and Christmas Eve. You want to skip the day before 4th of July. You want to skip the day before Good Friday. Why? Because those days intend to be low volume days and investors just sit sidelines and they don't really like traded markets. So it's most likely gonna be choppy. So number 4, we have the day of big company earnings. You want to avoid those days because the big companies intend to really move the market. So if investors are sidelining themselves, you want to also sideline yourself. You want to ask yourself, are investors going to sideline themselves? If that's a yes, you should always sit sidelined. All right, number 5, we have any major court ruling. You want to skip those days because those days, again, investors gonna be sidelines waiting for the results. Number 6 is presidential election days. Why the presidential election days? Because investors don't know how the next president gonna run the country, so they sit sidelines until they have an idea who the next president is, and then they position themselves based on that. Alright guys, and that's the end of the video. I hope I provided you some value today, and if you learned something new, make sure you like and follow